All right, welcome back everyone to our second lecture on Christian marriage and family. Share the PDF. Okay, so we're just going through the biblical guidelines, biblical instructions, standards for husband and wife, to know the roles. For the wife, we just covered the first two. It says, love your husband. Second, submit to your husband. We said what it means correctly and what it does not. You know, sometimes what happens is in counseling, when situations, husband-wife situations, they come and the wife, so sometimes when you speak separately to them, you'll find that the wife mistakenly thinks that she's inferior to the husband, or I have no value. I must give everything for my husband's sake, and just do what he says. And when they get into that kind of a mindset, soon they feel lost. Who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Because they have just given up everything, thinking that, oh, my husband, I have to serve my husband. And then there's a lot of bad feeling. Like, I've lost my life. They're here, they're living, but everything has been given up for the sake of the husband and their family. And that's where this part is important, to let the wife know, hey, you are a person. You are important to God. God has given you as an individual gifts, grace. He has something, he has a purpose for your life. Of course, husband is important, family is important, all that is there. But God has a purpose for your life also, right? To kind of just bring that understanding. Because sometimes you'll find that kind of a situation. Wife is just given up, and then it's so painful, because they lose every sense of identity, worth, meaning, purpose, and they just, they're living but not living. So it helps them to understand correct meaning of submission. Submission doesn't mean you lose your life. It means, of course, you're giving the husband the respect and the place that God has given him in the family for him to fulfill his responsibility. Right? Should help them understand that, bring them to that place. Number 3, yes, the wife has been instructed by God to respect her husband. That means you say, I honor you, I appreciate you, appreciate the responsibilities they carry, their uniqueness, the gifts, whatever God has given them as a husband. Provide their support, show admiration, just that overflow of respect, of honor for the husband. And also be a help suitable for your husband, supporting and encouraging what he does. So you see, it works both ways. Husband is supposed to nourish his wife. Wife is also supposed to be a help to the husband. So it works both ways. You're helping each other. So this is all, like, we've covered the biblical mandates. But there are a lot of practical situations where how do you apply these, what Bible has taught, into all these practical situations? That is a challenge, not easy. Okay, so we'll just talk a few examples. So page 43. So think about this scenario. Well, so suppose a husband's wanting to make a decision. It could be like buying a house, property, whatever, something important. They're making a decision, and wife is sharing her ideas, maybe her interests, or her ideas, or her likes. But let's think about it like this. Let's say the husband is going to make a decision, but actually it is going to be wrong. It is going to be hurtful for the family. Okay. And again, we are talking about believers only. Okay, we're not talking about believers, this situation. Husband is going to make a decision. It's actually going to be a bad decision, actually going to hurt the family. Wife is seeing it. Wife is trying to say, hey, let us not do that. Let us get some input or get some advice. She's trying to stop him from making that bad decision. But husband, I am the head. I will make it. Question. What should the wife do in this situation? How will you counsel? They come to you. You're the Bada pastor. You're pastoring the church. Suppose it has happened in your congregation. This situation, they come to you. What should you counsel the wife? She's saying, my husband is not listening to me. He's going to do something like this. It is going to bring so much trouble for us. He's not listening. What to do? What should I do? Online students, you can also share your thoughts. Anyone? How will you, from biblical, you're the pastor, you have to counsel the wife. Yeah, please go ahead.
Pastor, I'll try to understand the situation and I'll try to figure out why husband is thinking like that. What's the reason behind he's making these decisions? And I'll figure out is it correct or is it not correct? And I'll share my perspective with him. And then after that, if still he makes the wrong decision, and if still he is going to make the decision he wanted to make, so I'll not involve so much into that thing, because that can lead to a different thing. But I will try to explain from a distant. I feel not to get not, and I will prefer for the wife to if I have someone in my church, a lady, so I will prefer that she will speak to her and she will explain it to her to do this, to do that, to do this, and I will talk to the husband and I'll try to explain out things that this is not a good for the family, and I'll explain from my uh, uh, experience to him, personal experience. If he understood, then it's well and good. But if he doesn't, then I can only pray for the family.
Yeah, but now, okay, I got what you said. But now, let's say the husband is going to go ahead, and the wife is upset, disturbed, concerned. We're talking about how are we going to counsel? What advice are we going to give the wife? Let's say somebody talks to husband, he says, no, I'm still going to do this. I'm going to buy this house, whatever. Something, he's making a decision which is going to be detrimental for the family. He's decided. So even whoever talks to him, not changing his mind. But how do we counsel the wife? What would you say? Stop the husband, shoot him. What do you do? Because Bible says husband is head, wife has to submit. But in this situation, wife is very concerned. Husband makes this decision, whatever it is. And it's different scenarios. It's going to impact the family. They've come to pastor, but pastor has spoken to husband. Husband still not going to change. What will he tell the wife?
Can I answer, Pastor?
Go ahead. Anyone else also?
So I feel like that I have to explain it to the wife. I can take both, I can call them both and I can counsel them together. rather than counseling the wife alone.
Hmm.
So I feel like I can counsel them and I can explain to the wife and the husband that husband should be the head to make decisions. It's fine, but wife is also a helping hand. But if husband is making that decision and wife is not able to help in that decision, if your wife is not comfortable and she is not able to help from her side in that situation, whatever you are making, whatever the decision you are making, then husband should not do that thing, because they should walk together. It's not like if a husband is buying the house, then wife have to take care of the house. So I feel like that should be like they should walk together and they should help each other and they should understand each other. And that I will try to make wife understand that talk to your husband, spend
Hmm.
time with him, and explain it to him through biblical perspective. Like I should be helping you, and so I you also have to take decisions as my perspective also, that it will not get difficult for me in future. So I
Correct.
can explain like
Yeah. So I think, yeah, the positioning is good. That means you're going to talk to both of them, try to understand it, and then one is you're appealing to the husband, saying that, hey, do take your wife's perspective, whatever she's saying, take it into consideration. Because although you're the head, it's important that you walk together, that you treat her as equal. So pay attention, I think. So that's a good thing to put forward to them. So we shouldn't make the decision for them. It's their family, it's their decision, right? So I, as a pastor, I must not dictate the decision, right? I cannot tell the husband what's right and wrong. That's for him to decide. That's his family. I'm not running their family. But we can apply biblical principles. And one principle, as Prem shared, was that two must walk together. There must be an agreement, right? So listen to what your wife has to say, see if there can be an agreement, right? Of course, the husband has the freedom to make the choice. He is the head, but in this situation, the wife has some serious concerns. So why don't you listen? Why don't you see if that, how you will then express? And we can also encourage the wife, saying, see, from your side, you freely, lovingly, respectfully share your concerns, share your thoughts. And if your husband is willing to take it and change, fine. But even if he doesn't change, you pray and leave it to the Lord. Right? That means you are expressing your concerns, you are sharing what you feel about the matter, doing it respectfully. But again, if the husband decides not to do that, not to take up those points, like whatever you've said, and decides to go ahead, that's where you come to trust the Lord, saying God is bigger than this, right? So you do your part, but then you respectfully yield, submit, and trust that God will, whatever the husband decides as a responsibility for the house that he, as a responsible husband, trust that God will take care of the family. Let it not become a point of conflicts. We don't want that. Right? Have discussions, share your ideas. Husband, listen to your wife, see if you can come into agreement, but you're free to make the decision. Wife, share your ideas, express, and respectfully yield. Point is, flow together. Don't allow it to become a conflict. Right? And trust God. Right? Yeah, two people have different opinions, different ideas, but in the end, one yields, one submits, one makes a decision, and you trust that God will work things out. Right? So, like that, we can, we're not making the decision for them. We are applying biblical principles into that situation, giving them some guidance. Okay, this is how you do. Main thing, stay united, stay in unity, and most importantly, trust God through the situation. Okay? So let's think about some other scenarios. I didn't, of course, I didn't put it in the book. It's written a long time ago. So, but think about a situation where, we're talking about now the roles of husband and wife, where if you feel where the husband comes, husband-wife situation, the husband comes and says, see, my wife is very spiritual. I am very practical. When I want to make decision, my wife says she prayed about it, and she tells exactly opposite of what I want to do. Correct? You understand the situation? Both are believers. Good Christians. Wife is very spiritual, husband is very practical. But this is the problem. Okay. Husband wants to make a decision, something for the family. Wife says, I prayed about it. And God is telling us to do something, most time opposite of what husband is saying. So husband is very upset. So they come to you. You're the pastor. Please, pastor, what I should do? This is a situation going on in my family. I'm not able to make any decision for my family because my wife is saying she prayed about it. God said something different. How will you counsel? How will you apply biblical principles to this situation? You're the pastor. Please take the mic. Yeah, share. Okay, right. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Is the mic on? We're not hearing it. Just turn the mic on. I can't hear here. Is it on? Oh. Okay, good. Oh, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Very practical. This coming pastor asking like she is taking all these details to prayer.
Yes.
So we get, I feel like we can also counsel with that person. Like you also pray and ask for.
Okay, so you're telling the husband also to pray. Ask God. Okay, so good point. So you're talking about that confirmation part. Okay, go ahead.
God is speaking to wife, so he will speak to him also.
Okay, that's a valid point, right? That's a valid point to put forward to the wife, saying, okay, wife, you pray. Not saying don't pray, not saying don't hear from God. You pray. Husband, you also pray. And if it is the same God speaking, he will say the same thing to both husband and wife. But what if wife says, he can't hear from God, pastor? Only I can hear from God. Sometimes, he's very, sometimes I'm just saying, okay, go ahead.
If it's good, the Bible, it's good.
Yeah. So I understand what you said. So let's say this, right? They're not going to do something wrong. It's just that one is saying yes, one is saying no. We're not talking about like any sin or anything. It's about like, say, decisions for the family. It could be things like like, should we buy a house, or should we buy this, or should we go on this place here, or things like that, the day-to-day things which are not sinful, but one is saying yes, one is saying no. And the one is very saying God, using prayer and all that, right? So I see one comment, Sabaga said, submit to your husband, so you have to listen. So she feels, okay, wife has to submit to the husband. Okay. Vinay, you want to say something? Yeah, Prem, I'll come to you.
Same thing what Sister Saurabhi was saying. If the wife is spiritual,
Yeah.
it is in the Bible which is submitting to husband.
Okay.
So that's ultra scripture. They should be submitted to the word.
So even though the wife is saying,
Also,
says hearing from God and saying God said like this, you feel that the wife should still submit to.
the wife should still submit to her husband, and she can tell what she has heard from God.
Fine, she's free to share
She
that.
is free to share in a way that it is, he also is able to listen.
Mm,
Not just saying, thus says the Lord.
Right.
She can share that.
Right.
This is what I've heard.
mm,
Maybe can we
Mm.
alter this decision, or can we do something else?
Right.
So she's free to share, but at the same time, not like trying to manipulate, spiritually manipulate.
Correct.
So this is what I want this.
So you
So
say
I
God
say
said,
God.
and
Also, if she is spiritual, she has to allow to check her prophecy also.
right,
Because the word of God says you should check prophecy.
right.
So if she is not willing to do that, then that's not.
Yeah. So you got a good point, right? That first of all, we know what the Bible says. Bible says, wives, submit to your husband. That is written. So we can't violate that. Second, what Vinay is saying is, even if the wife is hearing from God, she needs to present it to her husband in a nice way, saying, I feel this is what, I felt in my heart, this is it. But you also pray. And so she's submitting what she is hearing from God in prayer, submitting it to the husband. And let the husband make the final decision. He can also pray. He can also listen to God. And if he is in agreement with it, good. If he feels differently, then fine. We submit to that. We yield to that. All right, I see two more people here. Juliana and Prem. Yeah, Juliana, you want to go share? Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, it is Mongi, not Juliana, but we are seated together. I think.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the experience I have seen is that based on the fact that the husband and wife are working together in love, I believe there should be enough security sometimes to allow the spouse, even if I am not 100% convinced, to make certain decisions. I mean, trust must give that latitude and to be in agreement that, yes, I was not convinced that, but I believe we can do it this way or your way, and not carry blame if things go wrong. Because I believe trust should also give the latitude of allowing the other person even to make a mistake. I don't think it should. It's a part of growth. And therefore, decisions do not have to be made 100% because we are 100% agreed, but within that safety of trust and love, I think people can learn. And the other thing is that as people work together in marriage, there is a way in which you grow to understand your spouse is better in this, and I am better in this. And as you work several years, it is like you almost let the other person make certain decisions of your life. Yeah.
Good. So Mangi brought this point about trusting, which gives enough room, in that relationship. So the wife can pray. All right. I feel this is what God is saying. Share it respectfully. But there is trust in this relationship both ways. Husband trusts the wife, wife trusts husband. And in this case, let the husband make the final decision. But there is trust that, hey, whether it's right or wrong, God will take care of us. And we are in this together. We're going to go through it together, right? So that's a wonderful place to be. Yeah. So, Imran, good thoughts. Thank you for sharing. Prem, you want to add to this? Anything?
Yes, Pastor. And like brother said, correct thing. And I want to add on. Suppose there is a situation like husband got a new job or an offer letter, and it's a big company, and there is a good salary also. But wife saw and wife prayed, and God showed her that there will be a difficulty for the husband in this job, and there will be some hurdles or some problems when he will join this company. So husband is watching practically that, okay, I will get a good salary, I will get a good package, and it will be good for the family and everything like that.
Mm.
But wife tried to tell the husband that this thing I saw, this thing God spoke to me, and I think that you should not take this job. So I feel like first husband should understand the wife perspective, that
Mm.
uh, what because like what she's saying, that is from God, that is from Jesus, right? First husband, you have to it, think like that, and then uh, there will there should also a trust that, okay, my wife is telling this thing, so I should counsel this thing, that am I taking the right decision or not, and then
Mm.
husband should pray for this thing. But if still husband doesn't get any answers and he take the job, then wife's duty is to pray for husband while he is working in that job. Like, it doesn't matter like husband take the wrong decision, or the decision to take the job, or whatever it is, then then wife's duty is to pray for the husband that he will be secured, he will be protected, and whatever the decision husband took, it will be protected under uh, God's supervision, or
Good.
something like that.
Good. Very good. Good example. Right. So you all heard the example. You got it. Right. So okay. So I'll just quickly summarize what Prem said. It's a nice example. So let's say a husband gets a nice job offer. It's a good thing, a good salary. He's going to take care of the family. But wife prays and feels he should not take it because something bad might happen. So she shares that with the husband. So how do you handle that, right? So in that situation, like kind of putting all the things that people shared here, that the husband also prays. He also can hear from God. There's also trust in the relationship. And, if the husband prays and feels in agreement with what the wife has said, great. He can not take up the offer. If he does not necessarily hear the same thing, then yeah, he is free to go ahead and take up the offer, work. But that's when the wife's role is to really pray for the husband as he goes to the job. Because yeah, maybe what God spoke was more of a warning rather than saying, don't take the job, right? It could be more of, yeah, there may be some hardship, so you pray through it, overcome it, and you will see success and so on. So I think the main point when you put all of these things together, which all of you shared, there has to be respect in the relationship that both can hear from God. One may be prone to be more practical and one may be more spiritual, and that is good. We, like Mangi said, we recognize each other's strengths and we use them as a team, work together. Wife submits what she hears respectfully to the husband, trusting that, okay, let him make the decision. Whatever he makes, we're in this together. God will take care of us. And then we're able to flow together in that relationship and go through, various decisions, all kinds of decisions that need to be made. When you have children, decisions about the children, for their school, for their education, so many things. You have to make all these decisions together as husband and wife. The most important thing is to learn to be together in agreement. Now, one area that really becomes a problem in marriage, we would say a common area, and finances is one, but another major area is how to deal with children. I would say a large number of people who come to us finances, I would say number one would be finances. Two is just basic, the communication, the relationship itself. They're not communicating, not sharing, not talking. Third would be the children, where they're not able to agree on how to bring up the children. Meaning, it's not that, so both are believers. I'm talking about Christian family. Both are believers. So there is no problem in terms of, faith. But the issues would be in terms of discipline. And I don't know why this happens, but one parent is very strict. One parent seems to be very lenient. Correct. So then in a situation where, let's say a child has done this kid has done something wrong, they're not able to see in agreements on how to discipline the child, to what extent to discipline. Right? The parent who is more strict will want to give a lot of discipline. The other parent who's not that strict, who's maybe more lenient, say, no, don't do so much. He's learning, of course. Be kind. And that becomes a problem in the marriage, right? They're both Christians. Of course, this is not about faith. It's about, some practical thing, behavior in the house, so on and so forth, dealing with those issues, right? And that causes problem. So this is where we will have a lesson is coming up in the future, a little bit on parenting. And this is where it is so important for husband and wife to understand each other and understand their upbringing. Many times, what they have learned, like growing up, my father was very strict, or they grew up, maybe one person grew up in a very strict home. So that is their normal tendency, be strict. One person grew up in a home that was very relaxed. So that is their normal tendency, be relaxed, it's okay. So now you come together and each one is having their own perspective of how to look at the situation, right? And we're not talking about something that's obviously wrong, right? Now, obviously, if the child is going to do something obviously wrong, both parents will be in agreement. But this is about small things, behavior, all of that, where because of the differences in their perspectives, there's a clash. Okay? So this is where first, so if a couple comes to you like this, and you realize that the main reason for the problem is disagreement in how they are disciplining their children. Maybe I'll put the question to you. So imagine you're the pastor. Christian couple in church. And their main problem is disagreement how to discipline their child or children. And that is causing tension in their marriage. They're coming to you for counsel. Now how would you respond? What are some thoughts? I know this may, for many of you, this may like I never, but I just want you to think, because, in the years to come, if you're pastoring a church or you're leading a community, this will be situations you will face. So how would you talk to this couple? It's okay if you're wrong. It's okay. Just think about it. How would you advise? How would you counsel? They come to you because you're a spiritual leader in the church. They want some input. They want some guidance. How would you handle it? Yeah. Go ahead, Fred.
I want to answer in that way, Pastor. Like, I'll call the family and I'll ask them, like, what is the situation happening, and if suppose if I'll take myself, uh, uh, I like not myself. Like, if the husband life is like chill out and his family background is also chill out and relaxed way, like going out at night and having roaming here and there and all kind of things, but wife's background is their parents are strict about punctuality, discipline, and for the time and everything. And then I'll talk to the children that what is their perspective, why their parents are here to discipline them, like on what topic. uh, so suppose if the like children is wants to go out and wants to go out at night and wants to stay at his friend's house. So husband said, okay, fine, you can go. But wife said that you can't go because it's not right going out at night and all. So I'll prefer that I'll take that thing uh, biblically. I'll put that thing biblically in front of them, and I'll explain to that kid who is going through this thing, because eventually husband and wife is if husband and wife are fighting, that kid gonna get affected in his life. So I'll prefer that I will explain it to them biblically, that this is how you should take decision, and like you have to think for the kid first, that how his life gonna get mold. I will tell that for the husband, that if your kids have a school or something like that, and if he's not going to the good place or a good friend, then you should agree with your wife. And if your wife is not having comfort to send their kids at night, then also you should agree with your wife, because there should be a time, there should be a discipline. So I'll try to explain in that way, but I will put the kid first, because he's the one who will go through this thing. Whatever the decision parents will make, he have to agree with that thing. So I'll try to explain to the children that they will not ask things that will make conflict in parents, basically.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Prem. Yeah. So I think the most important thing in a situation like this, it's best not to get kids involved in this situation. So you keep them away. You don't want to get them involved in this, because the issue is between father and mother, right? So it's keep the kids out of it, simply because if otherwise they will use this against their parents. They'll play games with the parents. So the real thing here is to help the parents understand each other and come to a middle ground, right? So, and you find this in most homes where it is like this, that they come from different backgrounds, I'm not saying always, but in many cases. they come from different backgrounds. So it's important for the parents, a husband and wife, to come to a middle ground. The understanding should be between the husband and wife. Right? So understands the benefits of being strict. They understand the benefits of giving freedom, right? So learning to appreciate the value in both. Right? Because when you have freedom, then the child is able to thrive in the right sense, so explore some ideas and so on, and yet strict in the important things, right? So I think that the getting the husband and wife to understand and appreciate each other's strengths, the benefits of each other's upbringing, right? It's not that strict is bad and freedom is bad. No, there are benefits to both sides, and there's a need for both sides. Getting them to come to that understanding, and then getting them to agree on how they will discipline their children. Right? So it's so important for the husband and wife to have that agreement. Right? And this must happen without kids in the room, right? Because otherwise they will learn, this is how my parents are. No, they don't want them in the room. This is between the parents. They're first of all understanding each other, and then developing their strategy on how to deal. The other thing is, understand that in the same family, two kids growing up in the same family can be very different. So you have to have a strategy for each child. Right? Even two kids in the same home can be very different. So there are certain rules, of course, house rules that apply to both children equally. But you need a different strategy for each child, depending on their temperament, depending on how God has made them. So the husband and wife should come to an agreement on, okay, this is how we'll deal. I'm just giving an example. Okay, let's say there's a son and a daughter. We'll deal with the son like this because this is the way the son behaves, the way the son. We'll deal with the daughter like this because the daughter is like this and so on. Because you need to understand your children. Okay? So this is something that the parents have to be encouraged to develop. And as a pastor, you will sit with them. Appreciate your strengths. You've come from different families. You've had different experiences. You're bringing certain strengths. Appreciate that. Develop a strategy. Both of you. Develop a strategy together for each of your children. How you're going to deal with it. And then live it out. And some basic rules is never fight in front of your children. If you have a disagreement, go separately, talk it out. Don't fight in front of your children, because if your children see you having some argument, this, that, then they will turn that on even more. Because ultimately they want to get their way. So the best way to get their way is put mom and dad against each other. So that these kinds of things you help understand, right? And all of this is done with the goal is for keeping these biblical values in mind. That means husband, wife, you're going to love each other, you're going to respect each other, and you're going to, at the same time, you're building each other up. Like you're not tearing each other down. Right? So we need to help the parents, husband and wife, to understand this, right? So there are no set rules, like we can't, but we can give them this guidance that you come together in agreement and then you exercise that towards your children. Okay. All right, Prem, quick comment before we close.
Pastor, I want to, like what you said, I understood that totally, that we should not involve kids and all. But Pastor, I want to know, like I have seen this thing, parents are strict, and there are some like, and they are saying to the children, don't do this, don't do that, and children agree, but behind their parents' back, they start lying and they start hiding stuff, and they lie that I'm going to my friend's place, but they go somewhere else and they do some stuff, and 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 all the things because their parents is strict. And then child gets on the different path, on a different dark side of the road. So how can we handle that situation? Because because of the strictness of the more strictness, we can also lose the child's hand. I have seen that thing in my personal life,
Yeah.
like in my friend's
So,
life or something.
Brent, so there are, situations that, children do go off on the wrong side, but we don't blame the strictness of the parents for that. The underlying issues are different, right? Parents need to have, and parents must have clear boundaries. So the problem is not with the boundaries. There's a different problem, right? So you don't blame the boundaries because the child has gone out of the boundaries. Parents must clearly set the discipline. So we'll talk about parenting a little in a separate chapter. So the issues are different, right? The child, by nature, children would want to do wrong things, and those things have to be corrected. No child is born perfect. Children will have their things of wanting to go, and we have to address those matters depending on the age and how we do it. So the problem is not with the discipline, right? We don't blame the discipline or the boundaries for their behavior. Their behavior has to be addressed, and there are different reasons for that. We'll pick that up in our chapter on parenting. Again, we'll deal with parenting a little bit, not too much, but yeah.
Pastor, like after closing the class, I want to ask one question. So how can I contact you and ask you?
Feel free to drop me an email. I'll just type my email in the chat.
Okay.
So drop me an email and I can respond to that.
Okay, Pastor. Thank you.
Okay, so I appreciate everyone sharing your thoughts and having some discussion. And we will continue this next week. Think about some of these things, questions, anything that you have, we will talk about it. We'll close here for today. All right? Thank you, everyone. Okay.